Okay, let's talk about something happy. Letterkenny Season 5 dropped this past week, and I think it's my favorite season.
Season 3 might still be my favorite.
Season 3 was pretty good, too.
Overall, I think overall.
We need to rewatch them all.
This one had some funny episodes.
Oh my
But
god.
I think overall, Season 3 might still be my favorite.
The spelling bee
That was funny.
was amazing. The spelling bee was awesome.
Hockey?
Riley and Jonesy were amazing this season. I thought they went from good to fantastic. The Hard Right episode
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
was
Oh, that was funny.
for anybody who had wondered the show's politics, that
If
is
you
just,
hadn't figured it out before,
they really hit you over the head with it in that one.
but they weren't subtle about it before.
But that one really drove it home.
Oh yeah.
That one really
White
drove it home.
Polo shirt and
But-
khaki pants. Oh
but-
my gosh, so funny.
Rawld now gave us the answer for when somebody asks if you're a libtard or you're conservative or you're whatever political affiliation you have. Rawld answered with, "I consider myself a wood nymph." I'm a wood nymph.
He's still my favorite.
Rawld is great. Stuart.
And the way he looks at Stuart, just
Every
There's that
time,
one episode
every
he-
scene, every time Stuart's up front, you just see Rawld.
yeah,
Just they're like, oh, he's so beautiful, and it's just,
he's my favorite.
oh god, it was just so funny. The
Gradually.
other thing too, I think this season, I think my love for Tanis went to a new level. Tanis this season just became just so flippin' awesome. And I know it didn't work out between her and Wayne. Spoiler alert. You didn't expect it to, did you? But because everything ends up the same. Every season kind of ends up in the same spot where they started, which is kind of awesome. Squirrely Dan. Just when they were talking about renaming the team, like, well, leader is Rough Riders,
Yeah,
and second place is the Muff Riders. And so from now on, whenever Saskatchewan plays,
The Rough Riders are gonna play with the Rough Riders.
yeah, I'll take the Rough Riders. I'll take that bet. I think the Rough Riders are going to win. They have that argument. And I think Martin Short somewhere going, yeah, I started that. And it reminded me of a
What
Martin Short.
is a Rough Rider?
Martin Short was on, I think it was on Johnny Carson, where he said the CFL was the only league, and this was in the 80s, that has 8 teams and 2 of them are called Rough Riders. And he said, and you'll listen to Canadians having a conversation where they'll say, well, I like the Rough Riders, but I'm not a big fan of the Rough Riders. I don't think the Rough Riders have much of a chance this year. Especially if they end up meeting the Rough Riders, I really don't like their chances in the Grey Cup. And it's true that for me, I like the Ottawa Rough Riders, but I didn't like the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. I was a big Rough Riders fan, but I didn't really care for the Rough Riders. And the difference was one was 2 words and one
Right.
was 1 word, so it's Rough Riders or Rough Riders. But
So stupid.
casually, it just sounded the same, and it is so Canadian. Just the dialogue in this show is always on point. They make fun of LA. I thought that was funny. They made fun of Canadian bands
Oh yeah,
just using songs.
that was funny.
Song titles was amazing.
Yeah.
When they were talking about the dog crapping on the floor,
Used a bunch of Canadian.
they used every chocolate bar
Canadi-
imaginable to describe
Canadian
the
chocolate
droppings.
bars.
Yes, to describe the droppings left on the floor. The show could not be more Canadian than what it is. Shorzy doesn't show up till over halfway through the season. It's pretty obvious that the actor playing Shorzy is Wayne.
Well, at least the voice.
But when you
I
see
don't
him on
think
the
it's-
ice,
I don't think it's him when it's a referee or the linesman.
but when he's on the ice, he's got that
The-
shield that's got the really heavy filter on it, so you
tinted.
can't see his face.
I don't think it's the same actor that.
Shorzy
him,
is
I
the
just think
same.
it's the voice.
Shorzy's the same as what the next door neighbor was on Home Improvement.
Absolutely.
You can't see his face. You never see it anywhere in the whole thing.
Wilson.
Yes, like Wilson.
Like Wilson.
And I can't say any of his lines. I can't say
Nope.
any of them at all.
Nope.
They're really funny.
It's funny.
Shorzy gets funny, especially when he's the linesman in that championship game and he's beaking off at the whole bench.
That is really funny.
And the two girls that were fighting with each other, the funny thing is, the blonde girl that was fighting with the other one, I remember her from Killjoys, and I thought she was kind of dorky and whatever. I gotta say, after hearing her with that trash talk, the sewer mouth like that, kind of hot. That makes her kind of hot. That's kind of fun. And it's so weird because Yvonne couldn't be more opposite of that.
No.
And yet, when a girl trash talks and does like Tanis goes out there and kicks some ass. You show up with tiki torches and khaki pants in her town, you're gonna get whooped. The tiki torches were amazing.
So funny.
And we're not gonna tiki it.
Yeah. The dark web.
The sign. Oh yes, dark web. You've got to get me on the dark web. Dark web. And then by the next episode, they're not even saying the word. They're just mouthing the words dark web. They're not even saying it audibly
Stuart
anymore.
uses the Force.
Yes, Stuart uses the Force to choke people this season, which is amazing.
Rolled.
Rawls just...
So funny.
Oh, and then they bring back Gay, so hopefully she's in next season. Because I like her. She's fun. And then they have, and I don't, this isn't a spoiler, but apparently Stuart has some kind of a makeover and they don't show it. So they're saving that for next season. There's only 6 episodes to a season. They're half an hour each. It is very easy to get through a season quickly and have great regret that you've got through the season that quickly. But there's the 5 seasons, which is 30 episodes. And there's the St. Patrick's Day episode, the Halloween episode, which is hilarious.
Right.
And then there's little things that happen. Like this year, this is the second time Modine's is burned down.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the actress that plays Gail must go off and do other work.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, she's not available this season, so we'll just film somewhere else. And the bar that they film at doesn't even look like a bar. It looks like a restaurant.
It looks like a church basement to me. With a kitchen.
It could be. It could be the same
like a church
place.
basement.
Remember in season 1, they had the episode where Wayne was trying to date, and they were in a church basement there.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
the same set.
It reminds me of like Napoleon Dynamite. We were just talking about that. Like they record things all throughout their town. When they're at hockey, you can tell they're just using their city hockey rink, and they just cover everything up.
Boards. There was boards everywhere.
It was plywood. So I was
Plywood
just thinking,
everywhere, covering up
it's like
any ad.
being at Twin Rinks, and since there's all the stuff painted on the wall, and you can't really have that in your show, so we'll just cover it all up.
Cover it right up.
Plywood.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's other things. So, can we use this building right now for a show? Yeah, okay. And I wouldn't be surprised, like, for the spelling bee, that could be, like, their little community hall.
The spelling bee was amazing.
It was really funny.
McMurray.
Yeah.
McMurray.
That's
And
what I
he
said.
just almost ways on a word and then they tell him, oh, you're wrong. Oh, that's what I said. And Dickens. Oh, this season Dick Skin was so funny. He was so funny this season. And I'd like to see him in it more, to be honest. There's so many bit parts in the show that there's so many good characters. You could make two series out of this. You could have Letterkenny, and you could have another like next door town to it where you have Dick Skin and whoever else, and you could still have a great show. Mm-hmm. You could have something really fun. And then like the French guys at the end, I was like, oh, good, the French guys are back, and they're great characters too.
They're fun.
And when they're at the hockey game, and the fans from the other town come over, and they're trash talking back and forth, that's great. I think what makes Letterkenny work is the dialogue is fantastic. It's really well done. It's very smart, and it is unabashedly Canadian.
It's super duper duper Canadian.
It is extremely Canadian. Couldn't be more Canadian.
It is super duper duper Canadian.
Yeah, it really bashes you over the head with it. It makes up beers, though. There is no such beer as Puppers that I know of. But that's a great name for a beer, though. That's a great one. When they're going through names for beers and what would work, you know. And what was that one? Put it in cider?
Cider. It was a cider.
And that was when Wayne told Katie she went too far. But yeah, and even Katie too, you know, I mean, she's pretty, but when she starts with the gutter mouth, it makes her kind of hot. And I don't know what's wrong with me. There's something. Yeah.
Agreed.
It's so weird.
I don't know how you ended up with me then. I don't talk. No.
And that's why it works. Because the girls that are like that usually aren't necessarily the best girlfriends. Because eventually that trash talk that you think is so much fun gets used against you, and you're like, this isn't as much fun as when it's getting used on other people. Wait, you talk to me this way now? And then you'll get a couple F-bombs thrown at you and maybe a drink while you're at it. So yeah. No, that's not fun.
Okay.
It's not fun. But I think the casting on this show is top notch. The characters are fantastic. Squirrely Dan is just absolutely K. Trevor Wilson's one of my favorite stand-up comics, and in this show he is absolutely amazing. When they're talking about politics and he's doing that Twitter one, and they're like, "Oh, there can't be more. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's more." And I'm thinking, how much of this is improv? Any of it? Because he just keeps going. It's almost like they're egging him on. Like, I'll bet he can't make up more. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can make up more. He is that clever that I think I could believe he could pull that off. Mm-hmm. The Twitter war involving Iceland. And to me, when he kept going with that, it reminded me of my 1812.
Absolutely.
It totally reminded me of my War of 1812. I'm like, oh my God, Squirrely Dan is doing a hockey guy story. He's just going to keep pulling this as far as he can. And it was great. Because he had the Black Lives Matter in it, and he had the women's rights in it, and then he had all of the disabled groups in it. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, wow. He's tiny. He's not going to go there. Oh, he's
paralyzed from the waist down. And he was paralyzed.
He's paralyzed from the neck down. He's paralyzed from the neck down. Yeah, he is. And he just kept going. And it was like, wow. And then she has the Down syndromes, which means that they felt bad for her. So they just, wow, he went there too. Like, it just kept going. So, yeah, great show. I can't recommend it enough. I've recommended it on here before. Start with season 1, go right to season 5, and then start over and watch it again. There's only 6 episodes a year, because when you want to do a good show, you don't do 23 episodes in a season for the most part. There's always going to be crap episodes when you're doing 23 in a season, which is how most American shows work. But this one with 6 a season, it's fresh. It doesn't get repetitive. I don't think
they use much money to make it. I don't think it's...
No, I'm envious.
Really, I do think they use their town as the sets.
I would do a Kickstarter tomorrow if I thought I could put something together like that. Because that would be so much fun.
Because they really only have a few sets. They didn't use the being out at the produce stand because it was winter again.
Well, so kind of winter. Because at the start, they're like, it's summer with a freak snowstorm, and then it just snows the rest of the season.
Right.
Especially with the tiki torches. Yes. I couldn't believe he said libtard. I was like, wow, he even said libtard.
Oh, and cock.
Oh, yes. Yes. Wow, I was like, these are all things I've read online. I can't believe they're throwing them in the show. I've heard every last one of them. Wow.
It was funny.
Mm-hmm. And it was Jay Baruchel, who's kind of a big name.
Yes.
To be in there.
Yes.
That was amazing. So, yeah. 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it's a funny show.
It is simply amazing. Every actor and actress on this show deserves every accolade and every dollar they make off of it. It is absolutely sensational. Jared Keeso, who plays Wayne, is the creator and the writer of it, and he's clearly brilliant.
It's very linguistically creative.
If there is a TV show that I could guest star on, that would be my first choice. Ahead of, and it would have been Trailer Park Boys till a few years ago, but this is absolutely, if I could just parachute in, I wouldn't even care if I was portrayed as like some middle-aged guy in the back with the meth heads. I don't even care if I get a line. Because those guys have not had a line in 5 seasons.
Oh, yeah, the 2 guys.
The blonde guy and the dark-haired guy, they don't. Yeah. Half the time they're wearing masks for no reason.
Yeah.
Like the Fallout masks.
And they just dance.
And they just dance and smile. and frown and shake their heads. They don't talk.
No.
And I would be perfectly fine with a role like that. I would love to act on that show for one day. Just one day to be on the set of Letterkenny. That would be an amazing story. I'd be starstruck the whole time. That would be amazing. Easily. For me it's my favorite show now. It was close before. I could argue for other shows, but yeah, Letterkenny, because it's the 5th season and it's lost no quality, it's lost no originality. Every year's fantastic, and it's probably part of it because they rotate characters out and in, so they don't get boring. So when season 6 rolls around, if Modine's 3 comes up and Gail's back,
I like Gail. She's so funny.
But again, she's not in every episode.
Funny. No.
So they save her. They
it's like
wait on her.
McMurray, he's not in every episode. I think his character would get really old.
McMurray could absolutely, you could get overloaded with McMurray. Totally.
Yeah.
And this year, the weird part was McMurray did the whole "How are you now" thing while Wayne just sat and looked at him.
Yeah.
He didn't actually do it back. So McMurray does the whole dialogue to himself.
Yes.
How are you now? Not so bad. And it's great. And that way of talking, the funny thing was, remember the first season I watched a Letterkenny, I'm like, Canadians don't really talk like that. And then I would listen to people at my job, and I'm like, holy crap, we actually talk to each other like that. I could hear, like, how's your day going? Not too bad. How's your day going? Not too bad. And I'm like, that's really close. We actually are exactly like that. The show is really Canadian. And it's really fun because there's hockey and there's fighting. And the guys in the show that fight, I think, genuinely could win fights. I am terrified of Joint Boy.
They're huge.
That guy is massive. And, you know, he's a big dude. And the other one, I think his name's Jonathan. I think is the other one.
Remember.
And they didn't even have the ginger this year. When the redheaded kid came up to the bar and they're like, "Get out of here!" I thought, "Wait, is that gonna be the ginger?" He just comes up, and just starts talking, and they're like,
"Who are you?
Who are you? Leave! Get out of here! Leave!" So for anybody who thinks Canadians are always happy and welcoming, that scene would prove that that's not true. Sometimes we're sitting having time with our buddies, and somebody else will come over, we're like, "Hey, piss off! Get out of here! Talking to my friends. I don't need more friends. Go away." So you know that's kind of fun. But what a great show. I can't wait for another season, or maybe we'll get a special episode for Halloween again. The Halloween episode is fantastic. Because Rawld's possessed. Remember?
Yes, Rawld's my favorite. So.
And he gets possessed. It's so funny.
I like Rawld.
So hilarious.
Rawld is awesome.
The Haunting of Modine's 2. Really funny. But, yeah, so I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen Letterkenny, it's available on Crave TV in Canada. It's also on the Movie Network in Canada. And I know it's been released on Hulu in the States, which is why Jonesy and Riley, those pheasants, were at the award show. It's embarrassing.
They weren't nearly as funny at the awards show.
I think they were starstruck.
I mean,
I think they were just completely out of their element.
They're used to acting with, a bunch of friends, so.
Yeah, the coach this year was really funny too. The coach has been funny every year, but this year he was really funny because he was terrified. They're coaching the girls team, and he's terrified of the girls. The whole season, he's terrified of the women. That's why he brings in Riley and Jonesy to help him, because I think he's genuinely terrified of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't go into the room other than to kick over the garbage can.
Right.
That's the only time you see him in the locker room the whole year. And he loves kicking over garbage cans.
He does that one when
there's a scene where he can't kick over a garbage can, and you can see he's obviously upset about it.
Yeah.
And he's a funny stand-up comedian too. His stand-up is really funny too. So it's a good show with a very funny cast. There's a lot of swearing. Tremendous amount of swearing.
They couldn't even beep that show. There's no way they could censor the show.
And you see a lot of whoever the actors that play Shorzy, you see his backside a lot throughout the series.
That's the only nudity.
A lot of Shorzy
is him.
Yeah, it is.
You don't. It's not like you see any girls or anything like that.
Nope.
Just him.
Nope.
You see his bum a lot.
Because
he likes to stand on his hands
while he's
in the
peeing,
shower.
Or while he's peeing.
Yeah, I don't... Yes.
Yep, he did.
His
yeah. And you're like, Wow, that's I didn't need to see that.
Yep, and handstands in the shower.
Handstands in the shower. I don't even want to know. I don't have any
Weird.
idea, and I want to know.
Yep.
Give your yeah.
No, you can't.
I can't say his lines without sounding like McMurray. I can't give your Doug. And then you kind of let it trail off because you can't say it. Mm-hmm. I like McMurray though, in short bursts.
Yes.
His wife wasn't in it at all this year.
No, she wasn't.
Bonnie was in it more this year than normal, but then she just disappeared. Did you notice she's in like 3 episodes in a row and then she just disappears?
Yes.
They're serving their own drinks, and I'm thinking,
Yes.
wait, who works here? They're serving their own drinks.
I don't think it was an actual like bar though.
No, it was the Ukrainian
I think it's
city
like kind of like the
place.
Eagles or the
So
Lions Club.
But they were just going in and serving themselves drinks.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you make any money off of that.
You probably had to pay.
So maybe she ran off with the Tiki Torch guys, because I think it was the same episode she disappeared. Was after the Tiki Torches.
No, I don't think so.
Oh no, she was at the wedding was the first episode. Because the guys who were hitting on them at the wedding. We don't fight at weddings.
Yeah.
Which is just that's just every episode is completely different and really funny. And again, it's a show that nothing really changes. There's not a whole lot of character development, but it is really, really funny. And it is really, really clever. And I am very impressed with the acting jobs done by pretty much everybody on the show. So 10 out of 10 for me. I couldn't be happier. What a great show. So for anybody who works on that show, you guys are doing an amazing job. It's the best show on TV. Even though it's just on Crave TV in Canada. Well, Movie Network now too. So if you're not watching it, you should be. It's fantastic.
It's a good show.
Agreed?
Yep.
And she doesn't like coarse language a whole lot. But in this
really
show,
don't.
she puts up with it because it's really funny.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I'll talk to you again soon.